Good morning, my name is Michelle, and today I'm going to be talking about the memoir I read by Kate Richards called Madness. Kate Richards is a brilliant author, and this is a fantastic book which looks at her life and journey through mental illness and a recovery period of 15 years. In this video, I will be discussing 3 major themes which I noted from this book, including fundamental components of recovery, clinician-client relationship, and coping strategies. There are 10 fundamental components of recovery discussed by Brown, Scofield, and Munoz. These components are needed to promote successful recovery in patients with mental health issues. Many of these components are highlighted by Kate when she details her long road to recovery. Peer support from Kate's friends and family assisted her recovery in a number of different ways. Her parents helped by relieving the financial burden of constant hospitalization and time away from work, helping Kate buy an apartment and assisting in her return home from hospital by cooking meals, cleaning the house, and feeding the cats. Kate also describes receiving a lot of emotional support from both her family and friends. She talks about friends such as Zoe and Nave, who have been through similar situations and struggles and mental illness, and the strong support they provide each other when one of them is having a difficult time. Other categories such as self-direction and responsibility are discussed. Throughout the book, Kate is the one who directs her recovery. Most of the time, she is solely responsible for taking her medication regularly. At times, when she is not willing to accept her illness, we see her begin to stop taking her pills, caring for herself, and managing her life. As a result of this, her recovery set back. Although she has a support system, house to live in, and at times in the book a supportive work to return to, Kate is not accepting and taking responsibility for her illness and is therefore stuck in a constant cycle of recovery and then relapse. Towards the end of the book, we see Kate come to realize and accept that she has a mental illness, that she is sick, and from there is able to take responsibility for her actions and for her recovery. The lead-on effect of this is we begin to see great improvements in Kate's management of her mental health. In my opinion, the most predominant theme in the book was the lack of quality health care for people with mental health disorders in Australia today, and the importance of therapeutic relationships between clinicians and their clients. There are some shocking examples in this book of inappropriate and damaging responses from clinicians to Kate's illness. In Chapter 12, we see Kate describing to her psychologist at the time, Jane, that she is self-harmed by burning her leg. The response from Jane is, I quote, "You remind me of the way Hitler treated the Jews." As to be expected, Kate is very distraught by these words being associated to Hitler. Basically, the horrible words and voices in her head are saying to her are further confirmed by the statement. If we look at these examples in comparison to the professional relationship with her psychologist Winsome later in the book, we see clear distinctions. It is clear that Winsome isn't expecting to see changes in Kate's behavior right away. She is aware that it takes time to develop a relationship and trust with a client and gives Kate this time. Her attitude towards Kate is non-judgmental and conveys empathy. For example, Kate often apologizes to Winsome if she has a relapse or self-harms, and Winsome always says that she does not need to apologize, confirming to Kate that it's okay to make mistakes, that it doesn't make you a bad person. Kate's response to her sessions with Winsome highlight the trust and safety she feels with Winsome. Quote, "I leave with a sense of lightness, my feet firmly on the ground and a slight warmth in my heart." The development of coping mechanisms in response to illness is another theme identified within the book. Throughout most of the book, we see Kate use alcohol as an escape from the voices in her head. We also see her use it as a release to help her function during the day at work and with other tasks she needs to get done. Kate will often drink at night to allow her to cope with the voices when they are at their loudest, and will use it to help her sleep at night so she can function at work. Quote, from Helen, "How much are you drinking?" Kate, "Half a bottle of scotch over an evening and night." Helen, "Why?" Kate, "Keeps my head in check, all this spewing." Helen, "What would happen if you didn't drink?" Kate, I'd go mad. Occupational Therapy and Mental Health, A Vision for Participation is a book which acknowledges the correlation between ineffective coping strategies and mental health. It is common for people with psychiatric disabilities to adapt emotional-focused or avoidant-oriented coping strategies, which involve reducing the negative emotional consequences or denying or avoiding the issue. This is the approach we see Kate using with alcohol as her way of coping. For people with mental health issues, addiction can be seen as an escape from thoughts and feelings, and others report that it is like a way to suppress fears. This is why addiction is appealing as a coping mechanism. These are the findings from Wandsmouth, Crabtree and Scott. Later in the book, with the assistance of Winsome, Kate is able to develop an action plan for her illness, using strategies such as listening to music, talking to someone, and going into a low-sensory room when symptoms begin to increase. These are the coping strategies which are problem-focused. They are used to address the issue and an effective tool. The positive effects of these strategies have on Kate's life are highlighted towards the end of the book, when we begin to see her relapse disappear and her well-being increase. Quote, "So here I am, a mentally ill patient participating in management of my own illness." In summary, these are the many factors which contribute to an individual's journey to recovery. It is important as clinicians that we understand these many factors so that we can use these to enhance recovery. Therapeutic alliance and coping strategies are discussed largely by Kate, and it is the clinician's responsibility to ensure therapy addresses these issues.